Welcome to the Business Central launch edition of 2025 Release Wave 2 for Finance Analytics. A recent survey from IDC, where they surveyed small, medium business customers, unlocked insights that I thought was interesting. They were asked about different things. One of the things they were asked was immediate business priorities of top 5, and what they answered in both the small and medium segment of customers was that profitability and process efficiency, those were both in the top 5. So when planning for this wave for finance analytics, we thought, let's try to make those two a focus area for what we do in finance analytics. The highlights of that area, we can't show everything in this video, it's simply too much. But we have these 4 kind of investment areas: financial reporting, deferral analysis, documentation, and Power BI app for finance. For the first one, financial reporting, this is something we know from our telemetry that this is used by more than a third of all customers use this. And in this release, we want to give you some productivity improvements because, we like that you use the feature. Here's something that make it even easier to use financial reporting. But in particular, also some larger improvements that you can make financial statements that fit your needs. And for the second part, we made it easier to analyze deferrals, both posted and upcoming. So I'll show you that. With our upcoming or with our improved documentation, we also, hopefully, it has never been easier to both discover and understand the breadth of out-of-the-box reports that exist for Business Central, and simply something that you can hopefully use, if you're not already using them, to make your finance department more data-driven. And finally, speaking of data-driven, the enhanced Power BI for finance. Here we added things to help you analyze to get a better cash flow, both for analyzing late payments and also help you in general with your accounts receivables historical analysis. So should we dive in? I think we should. So for financial reporting, here are the highlights. The 2 highlights are dynamic date headers and ability to run reports that both show amounts in local currency and additional reporting currency. And then we have some small enhancements that I will kind of show you in the demo as well. So here in Business Central, I have opened the financial reporting list page. And if we just choose the first account categories overview report and view that, this report, if you see the options here, you can see I show more. You can see that this report is using the periods column definition. And the periods column definition is showing you current period -1, and current period -2, right? That's probably written by an engineer. No, just a joke, because we didn't actually have a way to specify like -1 and -2. We really want to see what period you are on here, right? So that's something that we changed. You also, if you look carefully, one of the small productivity improvements we did was that the show less, show more is hiding a few more of the fields that you don't really need to see when you're already consuming the report. So that gives you a little bit more screen size to see the actual report. So could we do anything about this current period thing? Let's try to go to definitions and edit the column definition, the periods column definition. Small productivity improvement here is that you can also now change the column description directly from the card. In the previous release, you had to do that on the lists. Anyway, we have a new option here called include date in column header. So that means instead of calling this current period, I could actually say current period and then specify I would like here to see the month. And then If I do that, I could just get rid of the column headers completely and just choose to show the month here. Okay, that's it. Let's go back to the account categories overview here and view it again. And what you notice here is now the column headers is showing current period. That was the only thing in the text. But now we have in parentheses September. That means when we have both a text and a date part of the header, we put the date part in parentheses. But the other two here, where there's only a date component, is just shown with that. So that's dynamic date headers for your reports. Okay, so the other thing is the report that supports additional reporting currencies. Let's just go back to the column definition and see how that works. If I scroll this to the right, there's a new column here called Show in ACY, in Additional Reporting Currency. And if I do that, maybe not on the periods, but let's pick a different one. Let's pick maybe the balance definition. So if I go here, edit column definition for balance, I could have another one that says balance in additional currency. Maybe I should have this as balance at date. And then I can simply choose the latter here to show in additional currency. Now, I haven't set up this system to actually use additional currency, so this will show up blank, but I can show you in the end of the presentation how that looks. If I just do it here, you see that since ACI is not set up, I just have blanks, but if that was set up, I would have the same amount in the two different currencies. What else did we do? So for row definitions here, in the past, if I wanted to change the description, I had to edit it here. So a new thing, if I edit my row definition, I can, just like columns, I can change the description here. Another thing that we did was we made it possible to edit the row definitions in Excel, because row definitions are very much like tied to a way to work with rows in Excel. So that's just a small productivity improvement. Another thing we did was for row definitions, let's say I want to add a posting account and I want to add a single account. See if I can find one, 3,000 here. If I do that, then you notice that the description directly in my row definition is just auto-completed. So if you add a single GL account here in the row definition, that description is transferred over. You can still, of course, change it to whatever you want, but that's a nice little shortcut. A final small improvement is if you change the name of a GL account, let's just take Goodwill and edit this, then since GL accounts can be used in financial reporting, if you change the name here, you might also want to change a name somewhere. So if I change this to, I don't know, Goodwills, I will get a notification, a new one here, that I changed a GL account, and I might want to check if I'm using this account in any financial report where the name should be changed as well. All right, so I promise to show you a picture, at least, of the financial report with additional reporting currency. So let me go back to the presentation and just show that and move on to deferrals. Yeah, and as I promised, here is the balance sheet financial report, but with a column definition that now have additional currency on a system where additional currency is enabled. So now you have your balance, both in the local currency and your additional reporting currency. The next is Power BI for finance. So the story here is that we wanted to make it much easier for controllers, CFOs, finance people to analyze aged receivables and in particular late payments, because both of these are something that impact your cash flow. So a few improvements in the Power BI app for that. Let me show you that. So the first addition is a completely new report. late payment analysis on receivables. And I think this is one of the key things we added in this release for analytics among the things we did in purchasing app. But I think this is pretty cool. So the visual you see here, the bubble charts, is like normally BI or reporting is very much like you see tabular things, or you see like a bar chart or something. But here we actually are able to see late payments by size, right? So what you see here is late payment amounts, which means the amount that is outstanding is on this axis, and the lateness or the average days late is here on the second axis. And then we simply plot your customers, or you get a plot of your customers where the size of the bubbles is kind of the size of the amount, right? So that means the further you are up here, if you're up here, that's bad, right? Because that means that this is a customer that has like a large amount late payment and is also like one of the most late payers, right? So if I look at Trey, I can see that, they have 10,000 outstanding, on average 15 days, and with 6 payments that are late. If I choose this bubble here, everything changes. So you can see the navigation here is that. All the KPIs are, of course, filtered to that. But you can also now see that even though it's bad with Trey, it's actually getting better, right? So here's your monthly late payments over time, and you can see that even though they are late paying, they were actually much more, the late payments are like something is outstanding from January, 6,000, 2,000 last month, and so on. And you can also directly see the transactions. So if you want to go back in Business Central and check out the different invoices, you could do that. So hopefully this will give you like a one-stop shop to analyze late payments, and then you should annotate this analytics with processes in your AP or in your finance, so that you also, or AR, sorry, so that you also kind of know how to follow up with Trey and others. So that was the first thing for cash flow. The second thing is under the average collection period report. So this looks like the one you know, except that you now also have a historical trend. So an average collection period average 1 year ahead or behind. And that means that you can kind of see, for instance, here that you have collections like amounts due, but then because you look back in time, then this particular graph only jumps when you have kind of accumulated accounts receivable. So this was an idea we had from one of you that wanted a report on exactly this, and we thought instead of writing a new report in Business Central, we just added this ability to the collection period report in Power BI. So for deferrals in finance, I mean deferring either sales, purchases, or purchase invoices, or even just on a GL level, you now have the ability to analyze upcoming, which means non-posted, and existing deferrals that are posted. The latter was the only thing you could do before this release. We also modernized the report layouts so that they now use Word or Excel. So that means if you don't like the layouts we provide, you can just use either Word or Excel to change it to the format that you like. And then we also added in-client documentation and articles on Learn, how to use reporting for deferrals. So here's an example of the deferral summary. It's an existing report, but we added these new layouts. You can see that when you open the request page, that you get, if you open the layout option here on the request page, you can choose between Word and Excel. RDLC is the one that will be deprecated of these layouts. So you could, if you normally just want a PDF, you probably want Word to be the default. If you only want to analyze this in Excel, you can set the Excel layout to the default, and then it will respect that on the request page. As with all reports, you also get the teaching tips with links to documentation, so that we try to explain what this report is for. And in the documentation, if I choose this particular Learn link, in 2 minutes. So the layout first is the before layout in RDL, just the technology we use for layouts in the past. For the printable version, you can see the pre and post. So now the Word layout, you can see it's the same, right? It doesn't really change anything. So it doesn't break anything. If you like the PDF, you keep doing it just with a different way of rendering the PDF. But for Excel, this is also new. They have the ability to analyze across every deferral, whether it's one report for each, so for sales, purchase, or GL. So now you can slice and dice, filter. You can even make these Excel layouts your own and then upload them and make them the defaults that you like. As a new feature, we also added 3 new pages, deferral lines for sales, purchase, and GL, so that you can analyze the deferral lines across all unposted documents. In the previous release, the only way to do this would be to go into each invoice and look at the deferral schedule. But now you have that across, and you can analyze all the deferrals that will be unposted deferrals across all invoices, and that you just take these pages, these line pages, into analysis mode, and then you can analyze away. Right. Final thing in the presentation, and then you're off the hook, is a completely new documentation of finance reports along the lines of VAT, cost accounting, deferrals, consolidations, and intercompany. We added both Learn content and these in-client teaching tips for all of that. And you might think, who cares? Well, I've had partners reach out to me that when they saw this, that they said, actually, we didn't know that whatever it is, let's say deferrals or cost accounting, we didn't know that this feature had reports because we as Microsoft forgot or didn't have time to document this. So now it's here under finance reports for all these reports, both an overview of what is available, and for each of these also documentation for each report stating what the report shows, some use case of the report, and then of course a link back to Business Central. So hopefully this opens up for a lot of reporting that you did not know exists, and hopefully that can make you a lot more data-driven as a finance department. If you want to learn more about analytics in finance, this is your landing page, aka.ms/BC Finance Analytics. It takes you through everything there is to know about financial reporting, Power BI for finance, built-in reports, the chart of accounts, reporting capabilities, and so on. So if you work with finance, definitely go bookmark this landing page and learn how you can be a lot more data-driven in the finance department. That's it. Just 3 more links, and then you are off the hook. So LinkedIn, if you're not already following the product group on LinkedIn, you should definitely do that if you want to stay ahead of the game on the news around our product. aka.ms/BC LinkedIn is where that takes you to the LinkedIn profile, and then you just follow, and then you get news about things that are coming on a pretty regular basis, likely very, very likely weekly. Since you're watching this on YouTube, you probably know our YouTube channel. If not, aka.ms/BC YouTube takes you there. Bookmark it. It has a lot more than launch edition videos. We have tips and tricks, Copilot and AI videos, deep dives, even under the hood, which is a series of things that are coming in the next release, way before it hits the release plans. So If that's not enough for you, we have some more AKA links as well. The first one, aka.ms/BC all, is similar to Lord of the Rings. This is the AKA link to rule them all. Every AKA link that is relevant for a partner is on that landing page, so bookmark that. If you're a Business Central partner and if you're not yet on Yammer, please join us there on aka.ms/BC Yammer. This is where we have conversations, discussions, questions about the product. No customers are there, so sorry if you're a customer. This is only for partners. The final link I want to highlight is the office hours, aka.ms/BC office hours. We have typically every month an office hour call. This is both for customers and partners on something that is relevant to the future of the product. So go check that out and maybe join one of our office hours. With that, I thank you for watching, and I hope you get much more data-driven with your finances. I'm done for now. Thank you.